Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new format for AkronBuzz. I think you all know Andrea Siebert.
Hello.
Who has been involved with the AkronBuzz program since 2014?
Probably.
My word.
Yeah.
All right, well, very cool. Well, thank you for joining us here today. We are trying something new, and that is, what if AkronBuzz looked more like a podcast? What if it was a podcast? Or what if we had a podcast show? Followed a little different format, and this is basically a radio show with cameras in the room.
It's a little bit more relaxed. AkronBuzz.
And as a lot of the media companies and broadcasters are doing, they're taking their radio shows, and putting cameras in the room, and then they have a vodcast.
There
we'll call
you go.
it. I don't know. I don't think we invented that word, but that's a good word to use.
It is.
So, in case you're just joining for the first time, you might not know what AkronBuzz is or what we're all about, so maybe we'll take a moment and explain. And I'll put you on the hot seat.
Right.
If you had to sum up AkronBuzz for somebody, how would you sum up what it is we're trying to do here?
I think it's kind of, to describe AkronBuzz, it would be a spot to highlight what's going on in the Akron area. Because Akron doesn't have its own specific news station or news outlet sort of thing. Not that we're doing news, but
Right.
we're just a way we're a local spot.
Sure.
To just highlight everything going on.
Sure.
And we all are from here, love it here.
That is a great way to sum it up. That is a great way to sum it up. And the one reason I like to volunteer or to contribute to it or sponsor it through all of our production companies, I'll just tell the quick story of how it came about, is most of the equipment in this room is hand-me-down from all of our video production operations around the region. I own a couple video production studios, and as cameras get old, sometimes they still work, but they're not the latest and greatest technology. So we have put them here in West Akron and built the AkronBuzz program as a way to use all of our wonderful still working gear, and also to include college students from the University of Akron or Kent State. We've even had from Ohio U and the Ohio Media School and some other wonderful, I could go on and on with all the colleges that have sent us their interns for the summer. But what a great way for interns to get that out of the college bubble, real world experience, come in here and do some great content. And most importantly, what we want to do is serve the community.
It's very, very hands-on too.
Oh, sure.
Whereas at a lot of if someone's doing an internship elsewhere, they might be the coffee runner.
Shadowing, watching.
Whereas here, you're still probably going to be a coffee runner, but you also actually get to do the editing, do the camera work, do audio.
I got to tell you, folks, I really appreciate my co-host here today, Andrea Siebert, who did her internship, one of a couple of internships at AkronBuzz while she was at Kent State University. And I'm so glad that you found the time once a week to come back and join us to host things and to share your talent with the program. I really do appreciate it. And, of course, in the summertime, you're working at Live Nation, and that's a fun gig.
Yes, it's a great place to work.
Well, I'm
Great
glad that
company
you've
to be
stayed
a
in the
part of.
Akron area. We just wanted to come on and try our podcast format. We want to watch this on YouTube. We want to see, this is a casual and fun format. And folks, if you're watching and you're involved in something in the Akron community, we invite you to reach out to us. Include us on your press release list and email us akronbuzz@gmail.com. And that way, when we're talking about things, we do the research when we do our short Akron in 90 segment, as we like to call it.
Yes.
And we like to just spotlight things happening around the Akron area. And it's almost like, imagine the morning announcements for Akron. Is that what it is? It's kind of like we could. And we're experimenting with doing it live, and that's a lot of fun. A little bit of pressure when we do it live,
Yeah,
obviously.
in college, I did live stuff. So I used to produce some live things and be on air live. So I'm kind of used to it in a way. I mean, it's been a little bit since I've done live, but
Sure.
there is more pressure on make sure you're giving the right information, make sure you're saying the right things.
Oh, yeah.
Because one slip up and...
Well, and when you have an audience and you're spreading information, We have 990 some likes on Facebook. Thank you for to all of our Facebook subscribers. They're not called likers; they're called friends. I'm not sure what they are.
Subscribers,
Friends or subscribers.
Followers.
Followers.
Sort of.
Thank you. That's the right term for that. I sound like the old man here going, "Oh, what are these things called on that Facebook thing?" And on YouTube, we have 110 subscribers. That's where we need to beg for subscribers, is on YouTube. But again, the idea here is not to do news. Certainly, we could never be a replacement for the old WAKC TV23 newscast that they did back in the, when I was a kid, back in my day. There was TV news in Akron, and we wouldn't be able to replace that without a staff of 20 people and videographers, photojournalists, writers, producers, the whole thing. But can we, in this studio here, as we sit in West Akron, have a little fun highlighting the great things about Akron, highlighting things that are going on?
Right. And one of the things I love about doing this each week is I find out what's going on when I'm like looking it up.
Sure.
And then I'll go and do some of those things.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's so many free things. There's so many fun things. And it's just like a great time to all come together.
What was that craft beer thing that we did today that you read? I don't know, but it was a...
Yes, at Lock 3.
Oh, see?
Thirsty Dog Brewing Company. They're doing it's their 4th annual, I forget, it's like the cottage beer crawl.
Let's see what it is
the
here.
Craft beer cottage crawl.
Oh, wow.
And the little cottages that they have there are going to be turned into craft beer stands. So you can go around, see a bunch of like local Ohio breweries all going to be represented there, and just and it's free to get in. And I think samples are $1, and then full bottles I think are $4.
Oh my gosh! And this is going to live on YouTube for a long time, and in the podcast world for a long time. So obviously, by the time people are hearing this event might be over. But there's always something going on in the area,
especially at Lock 3. Lock 3 is always having something, and even when they don't have a specific event, like in the winter months, they still have the ice skating rink, and they have putt-putt going on inside.
Sure.
At the ice skating rink. So I actually just went to that last weekend. It was a lot of fun.
Did you do the bumper car? Whatever those
didn't
bumper
do the
things
bumper
are?
cards.
Is the collision?
Cars.
Did you watched it? So
I
you
did
saw
watch
it. Were they really colliding and bumping into each other? It's not like people are going to get whiplash.
No,
You're not
it
going to have a
wasn't
safety
like a
issue.
rough
Right.
bumping.
It's not
it was
like
a
the
little
cars.
Tap.
Right.
But no, I was thinking about doing that, but they
Sure.
actually were all reserved for that evening. So I would say if you're thinking about doing that, reserve it, call ahead of time.
That is good information to have.
Because
See, we're serving the community by spreading this important information about
and we're like, I didn't even know what that was. Like, we're just watching it as we're skating around. And so then I was the one to go up and ask one of the workers how much it was and how you go about signing up for it. And he was saying how they were all reserved for that evening, but it was $10 per person. I would say it's probably, I didn't time it, but it's at least a 5-minute bumper car activity, and the cars light up if you go at night. So that was really cool to see. But yeah, we just
went down and check this out.
Ice skating. If you had your own skates, I think it was only $2. If you were renting, it was $4. And then we also did the 9 holes of putt-putting, which was only an additional $1 if you did both.
Oh, wow.
So I didn't have my own skates because they don't fit me anymore. So for me, it was a $5 evening.
Wow, what a deal! That's fair. See, and this is what's great about the program is we could tell people about this kind of stuff. And I think maybe the reason I haven't been down there, it's been 45 and 50 degrees and sunny. It just doesn't feel like it now. Certainly now, today, it feels like winter. As we need Brian Ivy, our intern from Kent State, to come back and do the weather.
Yes.
And at any rate, I'll do the weather. It's snowing. Winter is here right now.
Just look out a window.
But I haven't been down to the ice skating and all that. It feels like it now would be the time to go. But how was the weather on the day that you went?
I think it was in like late 30s, early 40s.
That's
we
nice
went at
weather.
night. So
okay. Yeah.
I mean, I was comfortable in like my thinner North Face fleece jacket.
Sure.
And I don't think I was wearing gloves. I think I took off my gloves for part of it because I was fine. But I brought some with me because I'm always afraid if I'm going to fall, I don't want my hands to hit the ice.
Oh, right.
I want a little bit of padding, a little bit of comfort. But there were people in just like hoodies and leather jackets.
Oh, yeah.
That evening. But
Well, it's 25 degrees today, so I think and probably colder at night. I'd imagine.
definitely wear a jacket, maybe
Yeah,
some
that would be-
earmuffs.
I haven't adjusted. Like I haven't, I still think it's 50 degrees out, so
know.
I don't have the winter jacket.
And then it was like planning ahead of making sure you have time to brush off your car and
yes.
let your car warm up and
well, we're a
driving
fairly
in
casual
winter.
operation. We start this program, folks, when we get here.
Yes.
Isn't that how it goes? This
Probably
revolves around
once
our
everybody
schedule.
gets here, which is 15 minutes after we said we would.
Right.
And then another 15 minutes of setting up and
That
prepping.
makes live even harder, because if we go live at noon, we have to certainly be here by noon.
Yes.
I think Scott will just come on and do a little dance and do a little puppet show until we all get here. You could do that, Scott, I'll bet you. Well, I am thrilled with the support that this program has received. And that is one thing about any asset in a community, not that we're a great asset to this community, but when you think about things like Lock 3, a great asset, and the Downtown Akron Partnership and all the work that goes into keeping all that going, you need participation. If we're going to have an AkronBuzz program and we're going to do this, we need an audience. If we're going to invite guests to come down and tell their story in an interview, they would certainly only want to do that if anybody is going to be, there's an audience.
And there isn't really a reason why anybody in the Akron area shouldn't be listening, because it's like I said, I've lived here my whole life, and then it was because when I started working at AkronBuzz that I learned that Thursday nights the Akron Art Museum, it's free on Thursdays.
Oh yeah.
So I mean that's a great thing to always. It's something
Certainly.
fun to do. Anybody can go to it. There's different exhibits all the time. Lock 3, there's always stuff going on, like how they had probably a month or two ago the Gilmore Girls event down in Lock 3. Like there's always something happening, and it's better than just sitting at home all the time binge watching Netflix.
This is true.
Expand your horizon.
And just because there is a void in Akron because we don't have a local television station, we must point out that there is a lot of wonder. There are a number of wonderful media outlets, and certainly we're here to have fun and contribute to the community and do community service and all of that. But we certainly are not going to compete with any of them because there's some wonderful, certainly. There's no void in terms of news because you have the Beacon Journal at Ohio.com. You have certainly the Rubber City Radio Group and WAKR, ONE, and WQMX all certainly have wonderful newscasts that they do. And a morning drive with traffic and sports and news and weather and the whole thing.
Everything.
All of it. So, and then you think about there's the Akron Life and Leisure magazine. There's the West Side Leader and the Leader Publishing and Record Courier and Akron.com. I could name. There's the Akronist. The Akron Community Foundation, of course, they put on the Akronist.com, and they, citizen-based journalism, they do a phenomenal job with their content. And I'm drawing a blank at the last one I wanted to mention, but there's a bunch of them.
Yeah.
And so there's certainly there's not a void in the news media. Oh, the Devil Strip. That is a great publication. And they do a nice job, with trending into the music scene and what's cool and hip. And I'm not cool and hip, so I'm not allowed to read it. But is that how it goes? I don't know if I'm...
Something like that.
Something like that. I don't know. But speaking of young and cool and hip, the idea here, too, is I'm not going to be the host on the program, although I enjoy coming on. And certainly I can host the program that's going to talk about why we're here and what we're doing.
Of course.
But then we're going to have wonderful talent from Kent State. Maybe somebody that we just was working at the Brico and we just hired him. Maybe Tom Bolgren.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's very good.
That was kicked out of a different commercial, and so...
Oh, poor Tom. Poor Tom. Kicked out of I felt guilty for he's just too tall to be in that Brico commercial. So then I said, hey, why don't you just come in and be on our show?
I'm just waiting for the AkronBuzz when you guys start making me sit on phone books or stand on phone books.
He's tall. He is.
To match his height.
I know. And he is not here today because the kids are sick.
The kids are sick.
Tom Balgren does a real nice job on AkronBuzz, and we're glad that he's able to be a part of the program. But I get to fill in today in a sense because he's off home taking care of the kids. He's a good dad. He's a young dad.
He is young.
20, however old he is. The two kids.
22 or 23 with two kids.
Yep, his fiance, and they just live right up the street. And he grew up in Akron and went to Hoban, so you don't have to have grown up in Akron to be a part of the AkronBuzz program. And in fact, I'm kind of hoping that people who have left the area, certainly with the brain drain factor, people, it's Akron, Ohio. We love it here, but we understand people might graduate from college or whatever and find jobs job opportunities in other parts of the country.
Places that don't have snow.
Places that don't have snow. Yes, those are driving factors.
Less potholes.
Oh, yeah, here we go. Now we'll get the nasty note from the... That's right, I like it. Fill those dang potholes. They literally went out and repaved all of West Market Street. And, it's funny because we're doing all this stuff for the community. You live in the Falls and I live in Fairlawn, but we're all about Akron. But we are. Akron holds us all together. So even if you're from Hudson or Greene, or if you live in Stowe, I went to Stowe High School. Hey, it was fun.
Yeah.
But moved out, landed in Fairlawn somehow. I'm not even sure.
Well, and that's one of the things with the Akron area is I feel like a lot of people will feel like they have to go to Cleveland for fun things to do all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And when in reality, there's so much going on in Akron that, it's not that much of a difference, but rather than taking a 45-minute drive, you can just go down the road and there's stuff happening. And in most cases, it could be cheaper.
Yeah. I can be in downtown Akron in just not even 10 minutes from my house. I jump on at White Pond or at Ridgewood Miller and ride into downtown.
And that would be a lot cheaper of an Uber.
It is. You know what? The Uber from Akron to Falls or Akron to Fairlawn is out to here is $10, $15 at the most. And
there's been times I've Ubered to and from Cleveland before.
Oh yeah,
and
that'll be a little more than
it's a little bit more.
That's a little
more
and if you get into
expensive.
prime time, but Ubering is safe if you're going to go out and get carried away. Certainly, the Uber's the way to go. Or Lyft. Yeah, we should.
Lyft is. There are plenty of Lyfts around, but it's slowly starting to rise. Uber.
Yes. But Akron is a large enough market that we have, everything you could want, other than maybe a lake shore, big body of water. That's the only thing. Maybe they could just redo the canal all the way through.
There you go.
And then Now we're just rambling, folks. We wanted to come on and try the podcast. Now that does remind me of one other cool thing that was going to happen potentially. Everything in Akron is potentially this could happen. It's in the works. Of course, they were talking about someday they were going to take out the inner belt, but then they went and did it. So things happen. The biggest employer in Summit County has their world headquarters here, and for years they were saying we're going to build a new world headquarters in Akron. And then what do you know? They did it. We won't name the big company, but they keep us all going. But at any rate, there was this plan. There exists this plan to somehow connect Portage Lakes with Summit Lake with downtown Akron, and mostly for the purpose of the kayaking.
Okay.
So that you could, and I read this in an article in the Beacon years ago, that potentially you could start in the Portage Lakes on the kayak or in other recreational activities you do. I don't think you get your pontoon boat through the locks that they were planning on building, but just imagine how cool that would be. So that's something that would just be
and that would be something because
the game changer.
A lot of people, I know a lot of people that have kayaked from Kent to Cuyahoga Falls because they have rentable kayaks.
Oh yeah,
at certain points of the year, so you could just jump on one of those and head down the river.
That would be.
It is a big thing that a lot of people do, so it could be beneficial.
Could be. I will tell you this, it is the middle of winter. We're recording this, and it is January 10th, 2019. My gosh. Happy New Year to everyone. And it is the middle of winter. I am looking forward to snowboarding. My son, I got him a snowboard, and his best friend down the street uses my son's old snowboard. And we go over to Boston Mills. I tell you what, I am 44 years old, but I still love the school snow day. When they call off Copley Fairlawn schools, that is the best. Because
You're the one sitting up waiting to watch,
I am.
Wait for it to scroll across the TV
I'm
screen.
I am on it. And what we do is I take my laptop over to the Boston Mills, and the kids are 12 and 13. So they still do the bunny hill. Unless I go out and ski with them, I bring my skis, but I will work for a couple hours. The way that Boston Mills has their lodge set up, you could sit inside but watch the skiers on the bunny hill, on the easy green hill. And they have the pull rope or the not the pull rope, the sidewalk that you can get on, and it just shoots you right up to So they have a mini chairlift for kids, and then they also have the moving sidewalk. It is the coolest thing. And I think I bring that up as an example of this really is a great area with a lot to do.
And that's like, I haven't ever skied or snowboarded.
Oh, we should do a segment. We should do a segment.
It would just be a montage of me falling a bunch. But I have gone to Brandywine and done the tubing.
We would finally go viral. This is what our audience wants to watch. This is what the people want to watch on YouTube. They want to watch people running into trees and falling. And Scott, could you call over to the Boston Mills and figure out find their PR department and see if we could do an AkronBuzz segment from Boston Mills? That would be fun. That would be a lot of fun. You know, and as a program that we do around our regular jobs, and that we come over here to the studio and we do it for fun, it is hard to do everything that you would love to do. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, if we had a budget of $500,000 and a staff of people and maybe newer cameras and some more lights and all that stuff, and then we could go remote, as we've talked about, we could broadcast from Lock 3 or from Boston Mills. You know, AkronBuzz personalities rolling down the hill. We do all this nice content from the studio. We get a bunch of views, and we really appreciate that. But we'd be real offended if 8 million people tuned in to watch you fall down the hill. That would be anyway. Didn't we agree that we had a time limit to this? How are we doing on time?
10 minutes. And,
okay. All right, we're doing all right.
Let's see. Well, I don't know.
I don't know either.
How we're doing.
That is one thing about our casual environment. What we want to do.
21 minutes later.
Did I go a little over? Once I start telling stories. But this is a lot of fun, and we do want to serve the community. And again, we want to make a plea to anyone who would have content they want to see on AkronBuzz, or they have events they want us to feature. Please feel free to reach out. There are a bazillion ways to connect with us here at the AkronBuzz program.
Any social media?
Well, we set it up pretty well because Facebook is facebook.com/AkronBuzz. We are youtube.com/AkronBuzz.
And Twitter and Instagram, it's just at AkronBuzz.
At AkronBuzz. I mean,
pretty easy.
It is pretty easy.
You probably just Google AkronBuzz and all of those will pop up.
Yes, all of them.
Click, click, click. You're all set.
Yep. Well, thank you for coming in for another exciting day of producing AkronBuzz content and for experimenting with this wonderful podcast idea. And I always like that ending. And thank you for watching. I don't know where that came from.
Thank you for listening.
And thank you for listening. Yeah, that's true. We are now going to experiment with the idea of having this audio on the SoundCloud, I think is what we're doing. And we do have a great podcast studio. I mean, even just the audio alone. And, now there's a platform for anybody that wants to spread the word about something really great in Akron. That's what we're building. We want to stage a platform, a mechanism for organizations to be able to just get the word out about events and things that they're doing. And again, not that doesn't already exist with other great news organizations, but we can be one more. Yeah.
One more could help.
One more could help. So this is our effort to serve the community. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for watching. And as we say, we'll see you on the next one.